Fish in the Sea by Nathan Aditella. November breezes howl echoed through the house as Dennis wiped his knife clean. He clambered up the stairs carrying his newly cut trophy, heart beating with a twisted, sinful sense of exhilaration. Nothing gave him joy quite like this. Dennis released a sigh of satisfaction and smiled eerily to himself, opening up his laptop with his crimson-smeared hands. "This work of art deserves to be shared with the world," said Dennis sadistically. He put his peanut butter and jelly sandwich down and took a picture of it, careful to showcase his delicacy in cutting its crust. Dennis added the picture to his Fish in the Sea dating profile and noticed an alert in the top left corner. This is new, he thought to himself. Someone had matched with him. Dennis's heart started picking up its pace once again as his mind wandered. How am I going to get this one, he wondered to himself. The dating site matched individuals based on their search history, so Dennis wasn't too surprised when the first text read, "So you have an interest in serial killer novels, I assume?" Dennis thought about how he was going to play with his victim. He clicked the sender's profile and examined it. So her name's Eileen, and she's a horror writer. Interesting, he thought to himself. "Yep, I find their stories exhilarating," he typed back, trying to sound as studious as possible. "I see you're a horror writer, Eileen. If you were to dispose of a body, how would you do it?" "That's easy. Dump it in a pigsty. Their stomachs are capable of breaking down even the strongest of bones. What about you? What do you do for a living?" Dennis's stomach fluttered as he hesitated and thought about what to say. Why haven't I thought of that yet, he questioned within himself. "I'm a butcher," he replied. "So, if theoretically you were to kill someone with a knife, how would you do it?" asked the writer playfully. I'd probably cut them on the back of their neck, cut off the bottom of their brainstem, you know? Interesting. Maybe I'll use that idea in my next novel. After what felt like a couple minutes of talking back and forth, Dennis sensed something different about Eileen. She wasn't like the rest of his victims. There was some sort of connection they had. What if I don't kill this one, he pondered to himself. After careful consideration, Dennis came to the conclusion that Eileen might just be worth the risk. He had never connected with someone else like this before. They decided to trade contact information and meet at a local cafe. Dennis had scored himself a date. She's perfect. Dennis came back home that night swooning. He had never felt this way for one of his victims before. There was something so captivating about her. Dennis was in love. Dennis found himself eagerly awaiting a reply from Eileen. He straightened up and picked up his phone the second he heard it go off. "I had an amazing time tonight as well, Dennis," texted Eileen. His heart filled with a warm sense of glee, something he hadn't felt in a while. What if this all works out? Dennis whispered to himself. 15, 16, 17, counted Dennis, as he sorted through the souvenirs he collected from each of his victims over the years. "Hey babe, I'm not sure if this is realistic enough. Would this work?" asked Eileen, and she typed away on her laptop and sipped on her pumpkin spice latte with extra whipped cream, just the way she liked it. "You're doing great, baby. Looks good to me," replied Dennis, as he attempted to scrub a stain off one of his old shirts. Dennis and Eileen had been married 3 years now. Dennis worked a 9-to-5 at his day job as a butcher, while Eileen worked on her novels from home. She had published 4 best-selling horror novels, but was one of the most humble people Dennis knew. She regularly credited Dennis for his contributions to the realism of her work thanks to him being a butcher. "Hey, have you read anything on how to get bloodstains off clothes?" inquired Dennis. I heard somewhere that distilled white vinegar might do the trick," replied Eileen nonchalantly. "And make sure you use that soap I got you in the shower. Smells like you need it," remarked Eileen jokingly, to the scent of blood following Dennis around the house. This scent of blood tended to follow Dennis pretty regularly, and it definitely wasn't from his butchery, unbeknownst to Eileen. How gullible, thought Dennis. They were the perfect dynamic couple, and one of them didn't even know why. Or did she? November breezes howl echoed through the house as Eileen wiped her knife clean. She clambered up the stairs carrying her newly cut trophy, heart beating with a twisted, sinful sense of exhilaration. Nothing gave her joy quite like this. Eileen released a sigh of satisfaction and smiled eerily to herself, opening up her laptop with her crimson-smeared hands. "This work of art deserves to be shared with the world," said Eileen sadistically.